From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Afternoon Edition.
Right now on the Afternoon Edition, the man known as the American Nightmare kidnapper has just been sentenced again, and it looks like he's going to be locked up for life. Thanks for being with us this Friday. I'm Ann Magovic. That man, Matthew Muller, had already been convicted in another Bay Area case that made national headlines. This time, he was sentenced for 2 separate home invasions and sexual assaults in the South Bay, Mountain View, and Palo Alto more than 15 years ago. Today, a Santa Clara County judge sentenced Muller to 2 consecutive life terms. He pleaded guilty in January to charges stemming from the 2 cases back in 2009. And in both cases, he was suspected of drugging and sexually assaulting the women involved. Muller has already been serving time for kidnapping and raping Denise Huskins in 2015. That is a case you might remember Vallejo police initially dismissed as a hoax. Muller also facing kidnapping for ransom charges in Contra Costa County. That crime allegedly happened just 2 weeks after Muller released Huskins. VTA buses back on the road for the first time in 3 weeks. Striking drivers are back behind the wheel. That is all thanks to last night's court ruling that workers broke their previous contract's no strike clause. Our Veronica Macias has more from passengers who are breathing a sigh of relief.
Riders that we talked to here at the Sunnyvale Transit Center this morning saying this strike was very inconvenient for them, difficult and very costly.
Bus drivers are back to work getting people in and around Santa Clara County. Unable to go on camera, workers telling us they're happy to greet passengers once again as they return to their routes. Still, the Amalgamated Transit Union Local 265 president calling the injunction to their strike outrageous. Riders like Hannah Wade say while she's always going to back the union, it was time to get VTA's 1,500 workers back to work, agreeing with the judge's opinion. This strike caused irreparable harm to the community.
Unions are a good thing, and I think that I understand their perspective. But at the same time, I think that it needs to be considered who's being affected by the strike as well.
While the strike was rough on the commutes for most students and workers, not everyone complained. Some say they skipped paying for ride shares and instead walked after hopping off the train.
Sometimes it would take between 1.5 miles to 2 miles.
How long did that take?
Probably, depending upon how quick I wanted to walk, it was probably between 35 and 40 minutes.
So you got some fitness out of this.
I did, that is right.
While the bus service is completely back, VTA Rail isn't. That's because as workers have returned and are carrying out track inspections, they've noticed an increase in copper thefts. Rail service is expected to start on Monday. As for the $5 Uber vouchers, Wade says they really didn't help much.
So it was costly, difficult, and on top of that, we had other people who weren't sure how they were going to get to and from work. I had several people ask me what I was doing and whether or not we could ride share.
If you do have a monthly or a yearly pass, VTA is saying to call customer service for either a replacement or a reimbursement.
All right, to our first alert weather now. Gorgeous shot there on Mount Diablo looking toward the East Bay. The hills are green, and I guess they're going to get more so because we have more rain on the way. Meteorologist Jessica Birch has a look at what's ahead.
Well, the Bay Area is starting to dry up as we head into the next 24 hours. Just here in the San Francisco area, we've been seeing cloudy skies. That's been the case all along the peninsula, off into the East Bay, with those showers tracking off into the east throughout the next couple hours. Now, we could see some light lingering showers up into the north as we head into the evening hours tonight. This won't amount to much, though. If anything, we'll see close to around 1/100 of an inch of rain in areas like Antioch, all the way over into Mountain View. Livermore potentially could see more impressive numbers, but for the most part, we are starting to dry up just before a beautiful Saturday forecast with dry conditions all throughout tomorrow afternoon. We'll get another batch of rain around the corner as we head into Sunday and Monday of next week. But for the time being, here's what we're expecting today. 60s in the forecast, widespread throughout the Bay, and we'll see a very similar weather pattern when it comes to our daytime highs throughout the next 7 days. Upper 50s, lower 60s are going to become widespread throughout the Bay as we head into this weekend's forecast. So we'll keep you updated on that here in the Weather Center. For now, back to you.
Thanks, Jess. We are following developing news after a huge earthquake in Southeast Asia. This is dash cam video showing the collapse of a skyscraper that was under construction in Bangkok after a 7.7 magnitude earthquake hit that region. Dozens of workers are believed to be trapped under the rubble. That quake and its powerful aftershocks centered in Myanmar, which was already ravaged by a 4-year civil war. Today's disaster has killed at least 150 people and injured hundreds of others. Tina Kraus has a look.
The sheer force of the quake sent this skyscraper in Bangkok barreling to the ground, with workers who'd been building it in Thailand's capital rushing to escape a cloud of destruction. The 7.7 magnitude earthquake hit as American Deborah Poonmache was relaxing in her Bangkok home.
I was in my lazy boy and all of a sudden it moved back and forth and then it toppled over.
The quake was centered across the border in Myanmar, near the country's second largest city of Mandalay, where a mosque was reduced to rubble with worshippers inside and the university engulfed in thick black smoke. At this hospital, doctors treated the injured outside as a mountain of rubble blocked the entrance to the ER. The shockwaves spread far and wide. Witnesses in Bangkok reported violent shaking lasting for up to a minute, and then a 6.4 aftershock just minutes later. Tourist Fraser Morton was at a shopping mall.
And all of a sudden, the whole building just began to move. Immediately, there was screaming, there was a lot of panic.
At this high-rise hotel, water from a rooftop pool gushed over the sides as the building shook. With the region bracing for more aftershocks, search dogs in Thailand's capital joined the rescue mission at that collapsed skyscraper, looking for dozens of workers believed to be trapped under the wreckage of the tower they were building.
Now, officials say that part of the reason the quake was so destructive is because it was very shallow, only about 6 miles deep. The devastation prompted a rare request for international aid by Myanmar's military, which has ruled the country since a coup in 2021. President Trump says his administration right now is efforting aid for Myanmar along with the 7.7 magnitude earthquake. The country is grappling with the administration's cut of about $52 million in U.S. aid funding. Meanwhile, Vice President J.D. Vance is speaking on Arctic security in Greenland. Earlier, he and the Second Lady met with troops at the U.S. Space Force base. Greenland's leader is calling the visit highly aggressive. That comes after President Trump's push to annex the semi-autonomous Danish territory. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz also on that trip. Controversy follows the U.S. delegation after that group chat on a non-government approved messaging app went public. In a Signal message thread, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth disclosed the timing and aircraft used in an operation against Houthi rebels. The National Security Advisor inadvertently invited Atlantic Editor-in-Chief Jeffrey Goldberg to that group chat.
They had an opportunity to just accept that they made a mistake, tell us how they're going to fix the mistake, and then move on, but they instead went on this weird kind of attack.
Departing from the Philippines today, Hegseth opted not to comment on the scandal. Taking a live look at Wall Street, things are not looking good there. The Dow down almost 700 points, sell-off related to some uncertainty about U.S. trade policy and a grim outlook on inflation. That has been down all day long. Probably not making a bounce back before the close. Still ahead here at noon and streaming on CBS News Bay Area, bringing even more flavor to the peninsula. We're going to take you to a new market drawing crowds in this longtime shopping mall. Plus, we're taking you up into the tallest lighthouse in the state for a check on its major makeover in progress. New at noon, a lot of people came out for Free Furniture Friday. That was going on at San Jose's Habitat for Humanity Restore Warehouse. Shoppers taking their pick of furniture, home decor items, and more. As long as it has a purple tag, it's free. Restore does this periodically to make room for more donations incoming and also to help people in need.
When we have things in our stores that are just not selling, we don't want to put them in the landfill. So it's a win for the community that gets free stuff.
It helps a lot. My friend just moved into a place, he has nothing in there. So this is going to be awesome.
Perfect. They're also offering 20% off other donated items in store like appliances, flooring, and more. The foodies, you're going to want to add this location to your radar. Jugalchi, a giant Korean market, is opening today at Saramonte Center, and it has something for everybody. 75,000 square foot facility has a grocery store, bakery, butcher, and seafood counter. You can also enjoy dinner and drinks at Pogu, that is its in-house restaurant. Shoppers expressed excitement for the new store.
We've been waiting for our Korean grocery market to be nearby for like a year now, so we're pretty excited to try everything out.
The store is going to be open today until 10 o'clock. We'll have a more in-depth look at the market streaming on CBS News Bay Area tonight at 5 p.m. Along the San Mateo coastline lies the tallest lighthouse in the state, Pigeon Point Lighthouse, and it is in the process of a major makeover. The lighthouse, located off Highway 1 just south of Pescadero, it was first lit back in 1872, but over time its structure started to rust and crumble. Access to the lighthouse closed decades ago, but Brian Hackney reports for the past year it's been in the process of getting a proper facelift.
November 11th, 2011, the night the original light went out at Pigeon Point after 140 years. Battered by surf, strafed by fog, the lighthouse still looked great from a distance, but up close...
Pretty much everything that you see here on the exterior that's black is cast iron, and it's all corroded.
Julie Barrow is Special Projects Coordinator at the state park.
You know, the work is going really well.
Hey, we're the photographer, and Julie, we're gonna come right up there.
James Pelletier oversees the $16 million rebuild, which had Pigeon Point all meshed up. Scaffolding and mesh for more than a year, but it's back.
It's a striking sight again. The full body scaffolding came down at the end of January. We were really excited about that.
But the job's not over yet, with workmen hard at it up here. 10 stories above the crashing surf below.
Hey, we're gonna start heading in and start heading up, guys.
And it's a long, daily, vertical commute.
From the ground to the top is 149 steps. 136 of them are the cast iron steps that make up the spirals.
It's a good 5-minute climb to the top. This is speeded up. And the views out the window on the way up. Wow, look at that.
Pretty sweet office.
The passageway becomes increasingly narrow with more steps ahead until we pop through the service room.
There's nothing to service in the service room, but I'm sure it has a purpose.
And finally,
I see sunlight.
Yes.
We're up at the top in the lantern room, where the work here is
Time-consuming. Found a lot more corrosion than what we had anticipated. So it's a lot of hand drilling and hand tapping. Tedious work.
There's another year's worth of work to be done. And while the workers are doing it, what a view they're treated to at the top. The same view the original lamp in the lighthouse had.
Right here is where the 9-foot-tall, 6-foot-wide Fresnel lens sat.
The question, if the original lens will ever go back in the lighthouse.
We are working towards that goal. We'd like to have the first order lens restored to the lighthouse.
And if the jewel in the lighthouse crown ever does return, no doubt it would leave everyone beaming again. But first, we have to go back down.
The project is expected to be finished by spring of next year. Back to our first alert weather, because the weekend is almost here. Taking a live look at our camera pointed toward Ocean Beach, and it sounds like we have a little break from the rain. With more on the way, let's check back in with meteorologist Jessica Birch.
It's another cool and cloudy day for us here in the Bay Area, with some light showers lingering into this afternoon. Our afternoon daytime highs are only topping off in the low 60s. It's wild to think that just, a few days ago, 3-4 days ago, we were breaking records for daytime highs down into areas like the Santa Clara Valley. And now today, we're just topping off in the low 60s. Beautiful conditions as we wrap up this week and head into this weekend's forecast. Now, before we get to the weekend, we still have some lingering showers kind of pushing off to the east throughout the afternoon today. overnight hours tonight. We can see those lingering showers mostly up in the North Bay, but it looks like it is getting drier for us. And then suddenly by Saturday, we're dealing with dry conditions widespread throughout the Bay Area. So from today until then, we could still get about 1/10 of an inch all the way over into Pleasanton. Less impressive numbers the more north we go and closer to the coast, too. One thing I will say, though, this exact same system that brought in plenty of showers for us here brought in plenty of snow for our friends up in the Sierra. And heading into this weekend, we'll actually see even more, close to around 7 inches just near Donner Pass as we head into early Monday morning. So, hey, if you're thinking of heading up to Tahoe, it's a beautiful weekend to do so. But I will say you're going to want to keep the chains in the car just in case, especially as you're driving back on Sunday. And the reason why is because Saturday is a beautiful dry day for us all throughout California. Once we head into Sunday, we have more showers in the forecast here, more snow for our friends up in the Sierra. And then heading into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, it's game on with more rain in the forecast. And daytime highs actually cooling down a lot more, too. I mean, we're talking about 50s right around the corner as we head into next Tuesday. We'll keep you updated on that here in the Weather Center.
There is literally nothing here to do. I'm talking, there's nothing here to do, bro. After you hike a couple mountains, after you take a couple pictures on the beach and visit the Golden Gate Bridge, that's it.
Now, that user on TikTok got absolutely roasted in his comments for saying that there's nothing to do in San Francisco. But maybe the issue is finding out about all the things there are to do, like concerts, free museum days, raves, parades, and festivals. If you're new in town, Sarah Donchi reports on a team of 20-somethings trying to build an app to solve that very problem. And they're doing it in the most Gen Z way ever.
Are you kidding me? The amount of, I think having a big place allowed us to host a lot of events, bring a lot of communities together. Like we did a Dinner with Strangers was our most famous one, where we invited 12 strangers over for dinner that didn't know who each other were.
If you want to build an app to help people party in San Francisco, your best bet is to live in a party house. That's what this group is doing, and the evidence of said parties was not well hidden.
Wow. Tequila much? I don't know. That's barely anything.
Relics of the past?
Yeah, it's a lot of tequila.
This group of Gen Z tech entrepreneurs is taking it upon themselves to unravel the doom loop.
I think the majority of people that say San Francisco is boring are not in San Francisco.
We've definitely played a big part in pushing the narrative that SF is not this dead, empty place anymore, and that there's new types of fun, there's new types of entertainment.
They are working on Vently, a platform aimed at helping people find fun in San Francisco, and they've hosted a lot of events, raves, block parties, fitness events.
I'm a firm believer that if you want to build something for communities, especially in a place like San Francisco, you have to immerse yourself in it.
We had over 250 people crammed up here. We had all of the wine selection here. We had people pouring drinks.
And if this sounds like a dream job to live in a house with a bunch of friends, finding and hosting parties, they say it pretty much is.
Oh, like a day in the life was literally me waking up, Nick there with the coffee ready, everyone going into the meeting room for a morning sync, and just working and creating some cool things together.
When Bentley initially launched, they say that they had 10,000 daily active users in San Francisco. They're working on a new app now, which should be up and running within the next few months. Well, you probably heard that baseball is back in the Bay, and so is the Battle of the Bay 2.0. Yeah, we're excited to bring you the Oakland Ballers versus the San Francisco Giants coming up next Wednesday on PIX Plus, 44 Cable 12. First pitch at 6 p.m. We'll be right back. March is Developmental Disability Awareness Month, and customers are flocking to a bakery in Palo Alto, not just for the treats, but also for the employees behind the counter. Ada's Cafe is truly a sweet spot. It's a nonprofit that started as a small initiative, and it's become a real treasured local spot. They employ people with intellectual, physical, or neurodiverse conditions, offering them a supportive environment to work and interact with others.
I do everything here. I do drinks, I do sandwiches, I do dishes. That's what I do.
It's all about the patience and the kindness and the support.
And you can catch Len Ramirez's story of this remarkable bakery that is making a big difference tonight at 5 and streaming on CBS News Bay Area. And a reminder that CBS is your home for March Madness. More action kicking off at 4 o'clock with Ole Miss versus Michigan. Then it's Auburn We have a special earlier newscast coming up at 3 p.m. That is going to do it for the afternoon edition. I want to introduce you to Scoop. She is our resident dog in training. She is an assistant dog, and she is being trained right now by one of our producers, Jen. And we're just always so happy to have her here. Remember, we're streaming 24/7 on the free CBS News app.